Vino Las Vegas, at Restaurant Charlie at the Palazzo Hotel. This time a wonderful experience at Restaurant Charlie with Chef Charlie Trotter.
Virtually no cream or butter, organic product, line caught, day boat fish. So, well, we'll see. You're going to get to try the food along the way. So let's start with something like this. We have some beautiful big eye tuna. Unbelievable stuff. Get this in from Hawaii. We're going to make a salad with hijiki seaweed. A little bit right here. Forgive me because we don't have the traditional television camera beaming it up or the overhead mirror, but I'm going to do my best to kind of show you what I'm doing here. But some seaweed that's just been marinated a little bit, rice wine vinegar, a couple drops of sesame oil, a few pieces. We've got some daikon that's been preserved a little bit, sweet sour flavor. We'll make a small salad with this. Just going to mix it together with just a couple drops of rice wine vinegar, a little bit of sesame oil, just kind of work it together. Some herbs. I'm a big advocate in chopping literally or cutting anything at the last possible moment. I've worked in restaurants before where the chef says, you know, at 2 in the afternoon, do you have one? You get all the flavor. So we've got a little bit of Sherfel, put that in there, and this beautiful fish. The great thing about the portion sizes here at Bar Charlie is that you could have 2 courses, again, you could have 18 courses or more. We can adjust the portion size to anything that you desire. So I'm going to make very petite things today, although it depends on your appetite. We certainly could cut a lot more and make larger portions. This is just unbelievable product. I mean, I don't even need a knife this sharp. I could use a butter knife and cut this this big eye tuna. I mean, this has been aged just a little bit. You're going to try this. Before I even plate it, I just want to, I mean, it's translucent. You can just see how amazing this stuff is. And what I love most about food, I mean, I'm a cook, I'm a culinarian because first and foremost, I'm a sensualist. I'm an aesthete. I love the beauty and the purity of flavor. When I eat things, sometimes I just have to be alone and not even talk to another person because things are so delicious. But I also want my food to be healthy and delicious and flavorful. So I want things both ways. It's sort of like Henry David Thoreau commenting on what good I may do for others has to be a byproduct of pursuing a virtuous life. I feel the same way about food. First and foremost, we have to serve delicious and flavorful and tasty food. And as a byproduct, it's going to be healthy, but that's sort of beside the point. I'm going to just take a little bit of sesame oil here and just caress it into the fish. Just a touch of grains of paradise, a little bit of coarse salt, and then we're ready to put together the dish. You know, we've got some kombu, which is a type of a seaweed that's been dehydrated, dried out, preserved. We tell it with the preserved daikon and the hijiki. In fact, you know what? We've got a puree here. If I could get that over here. Yep. Here's a puree of hijiki, where and this is the interesting thing to me about food in general. A lot of people think that, yeah, here's a dish and I'll make my dish and to the sommelier, figure out what wine or what sake or what non-alcoholic beverage might go with this. And I almost think it's the opposite. It's sort of like whatever you may be drinking. It could be champagne, it could be a light sake, it could be a Riesling, it could be a Gruner Veltliner. The food can be adapted to the wine. The wine is fixed. The wine's in the glass, it's not changing. The food can be, we can do anything. We can, if we had something that was more robust, red wine, a Pinot Noir. We could make this dish a Pinot Noir friendly dish, and that's the interesting thing. I've worked with too many chefs where they say my dish is this, and you figure out the wine. And my philosophy is it's the other way around. The dish is completely flexible. The wine is fixed. I don't know if we've already poured the first wine or not for this, but here's a puree of this seaweed, which has got this sort of muskiness. You'll try it in a second. I'm just going to spoon a little bit on the plate. And it's got this, it's a weird word to use with a seaweed puree, but it's got an earthiness to it. Almost like a concentrated mushroom flavor. Put a little bit of this on the plate. And then some of this salad of this hijiki that's been reconstituted with the rice wine vinegar and the sake and the sesame oil. And then the pieces of daikon, which of course is it's a type of radish. We've all had daikon before. In this case, it's preserved, it's sweet sour. Spoon a little bit of that on for texture and for flavor. We made some daikon jelly, where we use agar-agar, a type of, it almost looks like a scallop when you see it, the way it's been cut, the way it is. But we'll have daikon appear in 2 or 3 different ways. We'll have the seaweed appear in 2 or 3 different ways. We'll have the herb appear in 2 or 3 different ways. The tuna, we'll just take a couple of pieces, place them on here. Again, portion sizes could vary depending on if one were to have many courses. Chef, would you try that and just let me know if it's satisfactory or if I need to add anything?
I think it's right on.
It's okay?
It's beautiful.
We were just somewhere together. Where were we?
We were in Singapore.
Singapore, that's right. We had a lot of fun, didn't we?
We did. It was great.
We were cooking and doing some stuff. The great thing is when you travel, you see different things. I've got some cucumber that's been preserved and cut very thinly. I'm just going to add this at the last moment for a little bit of a textural note, kind of cut into the tuna, kind of emulate the slice of the tuna. Just place it on here. So when you eat the tuna, you get the cucumber, the sweet, the sour, you get the richness, the sea flavor of the hijiki, some of this kombu that we fried. I'm going to get some seasoning on here if you've got that salt. Thank you. Just a little bit.
Chef, can I ask you something?
Professional or personal?
Professional
Either
right
way.
now. We'll get to
yeah.
the personal later.
Open book, whatever.
Any particular inspirations when you plate something?
It's just keeping the food clean and it's always about emphasizing the different textures and the different flavors and a little creaminess, a little crunch, the toothiness of the meat.
But visually, I mean.
Clean. That's all I can say. There's no, I know I have chef colleagues that say I go to the museum sometimes, and not me, but they say I go to the museum and I look at paintings by Monet or I do this or that, and I think that's worthy, but I don't really approach it like that. It's definitely more in the moment. So I'm going to toss these herbs. Everything's got to have a little bit of flavor. So we've got some micro watercress with watercress oil. Strew a few of these about. And it's just, we don't like to overly, like this dish could appear tonight here, and it'll look different every time we plate it. It's never, it's not like here's the formula, here's a guy that can do it. We've got 19 bar Charlies around the world and everybody's going to do it the same way. It's all different every time.
Chef Charlie Trotter with a magnificent experience at Restaurant Charlie in the Palazzo Resort Hotel on the wonderful Las Vegas Strip.